always remember, if you ever hear girls always going about dad bods, make them pull out their phone and show you what they think a dad bod is. Like a dad bod's like a Seth Rogen. So I know this time of year, there's going to be many dudes out there that are starting the gym specifically because they're trying to get girls not more attractive. So I thought it'd be interesting to do a deep dive into the topic now, which is, do girls really prefer dad bods or fit bods, or in general, when it comes to gym physiques, what one do they like the most on average? And the reason why I specifically wanted to find women creators doing this is because I feel like other women may let their barriers down a little bit more and be more honest rather than when the guys approach them. And it'd be very interesting to see, well, it wasn't interesting because I already knew the answer because I've seen this throughout my life. However, I think it'd be interesting for those of you watching, especially the younger audience that are specifically trying to get girls, to see what physique, if that's your main goal, you should probably aim to build. And before someone says it, yes, I know, ideally, you shouldn't be going to the gym for somebody else. You should do it for yourself. I do agree with that. However, I don't think going to the gym to look more attractive, to, you know, gain the advances of women is that much of a bad deal. Like that was definitely one of the reasons why I started. So with that being said, the first one we're going to go through is we're going to see out of the gym physiques, which one do they find most attractive out of these ones here? Straight away, I will say they have done the super bodybuilder dirty because that's not a good picture on the bottom right because it's too zoomed in and it's just doing a pose. They should have had a picture of them all in the same stance. But in real sex stances, they usually won't get picked anyway. The really freakish physiques usually get picked last. So before I click play and watch multiple ones of these videos, my guess based on this, because I haven't actually watched all these videos, I saw like the topic and I left it at that. I would guess most girls will pick top right on average. Younger girls maybe pick top left. Now, me as a guy, what I would like to build for myself would be bottom left. So that is the lean physique, fairly muscular. That is what the guys typically want to go for. But I think the girls will pick the top two mostly.
What kind of body type do you think is more attractive?
Maybe this one.
The first one.
Yeah.
First one too?
The second.
Second one.
Second one.
Okay. Second one. Okay.
I like this one.
Second one?
Yeah.
This one. Second one.
Yeah.
So as you can see there, round one went to top right, which is what I thought we were probably going to go for. But bearing in mind, when you're watching this, keep an eye on the type of girls that's choosing, because there are different, like, varied girls, like they're different races. Most of them I think probably are white, but for the most part, they pick different things. So there's chubby women picking, there's taller women, there's shorter women, there's thin, fat, which is good. It means you get a good array and a good, like, round kind of view of what different type of girls, you know, will kind of still go for. Because you have to think, if all these girls from totally different backgrounds all kind of go for similar physiques, it's fair to say on average, this is probably the shape you should ideally go for if your main goal is to get girls. So here's another one.
What kind of body type do you think is more attractive?
Ooh, top left is my favorite.
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
Number one.
Number one, number two, number
One or two.
Number one.
Two. I
Okay.
got two.
Probably like one of the top two.
So first or second? What about you?
Second.
Round two also went to the top right again. And this is the last round of this before we go on to the dad bod versus the fit body.
What body type do you like more?
Second.
Okay, second.
Second.
The second one. Okay. Yeah.
The second. The second one.
He's won by landslide.
First one?
Yeah, first one. I would also agree.
Okay.
Slim.
Far left.
Yeah, maybe the first or second one.
Far left.
Far left.
Okay.
Or the second one in.
So the key thing to note here is that when it comes to the actual athletic and fitness physiques, even though many of us, which I'm going to assume, probably like the bottom two, I'd say bottom left for me, or top right is pretty damn good, to be honest. Any one of those two, you know what I mean, they're fairly relative, you know what I mean? But as you can see, quite a lot actually picked the very smaller, leaner physique. Like, that is like a normal guy that's probably been lifting for like 2, maybe 3 years, but just takes care of his diet. So for those of you out there that are trying to become the most mass monster self, you don't need to be if your goal is this anyway, because many of them did choose the one that's just slightly aesthetic. Like, they're not like stepping on stage. They're just someone that can comfortably take off their top. That's almost like a sports physique. That's something that you can achieve by like playing basketball and football and then casually going to the gym. So as I'm saying, for those of you here, it's simply just to reiterate, you don't have to try and do no crazy mad routine and think you have to pack on loads of muscle, or worst case, think you have to take some sort of steroids to build these sort of physiques that girls will actually like. You don't need to. This video of all these different women showed us firsthand that many of them will still go for lean physique. Like, this girl right here is fairly pretty attractive. Like, look at her face. Like, she's fairly attractive, and even her, she was like, nah, just go for the slim physique. She didn't want like the muscular dude. But now what we're gonna do is settle on now when it comes to the dad bods. who the girls really actually like more, the physique type, and also as to why, because I've got videos coming up that will also show why many girls like the dad bod, what they actually think is the dad bod for one as well, and also how men perceive this themselves. So I think this is important to cover in more depth, simply because there are many factors that goes into why girls say that the dad bod, and we're gonna break it down here. This is one video in totality that covers this, because I've seen many online that just kind of say girls don't know what dad bods are, but they don't break down in depth as to why. Anyways, let's get down here. This isn't a long video, and I've got to say it's not a good representation on the woman's part, because the guy that she's chose as a dad bod is not a dad bod. Like, this dude down here is not a dad bod. That is not a body when you think of a dad. This is literally, you can see abs in the video. This is the problem here. Like, they're comparing someone that is clearly almost stage ready bodybuilder to someone that literally is in shape, like he's a movie star, that just casually has a little bit more body fat. Like, he's probably like 15% body fat, and in not the greatest lighting right here. So straight away, it's not a good representation. However, many girls, when they think of dad bods, they think of someone that goes to the gym that slightly has a little bit higher body fat.
What about this body type?
First, 100%.
Actually, first.
First one.
Dad. Don't tie the second
Bodybuilder? You too?
So in case you don't know who that guy is, I'm just going to show you right here. So this is the sort of physique we're talking about. They're calling a dad bod. Obviously, he's going to change his physique over time, but this is not someone that's a dad bod. A true dad bod is someone that damn near has never stepped in the gym with a big gut. So always remember, if you ever hear girls always go on about dad bods, especially if it's a one-to-one, like a friend that you know or a girl that you know, make them pull out their phone and show you what they think a dad bod is. Like, a dad bod's like a Seth Rogen, but they end up throwing out pictures like this dude, which clearly is not a dad bod. Like, I've seen them refer to Chris Bumstead as a dad bod. Same goes for Jason Momoa. I even actually covered this in a video where this girl was talking about how dad bods are celebrated.
But like, why are fat women called disgusting when men who have like dad bods, it's like seen as an attractive thing sometimes?
Well, the reason why dad bods are referred to as attractive sometimes is because a lot of the women that reference dad bods are not talking about dad bods. They've said things like Chris Bumstead, the Mr. Olympia, literally is a dad bod just when he's gained a little bit of body fat. A true dad bod is like a Seth Rogen, something like that. And to reiterate this a little bit further, I found a woman that actually talks about this as well, as to the main reasons why men and women often disagree when it comes to dad bod.
There's a big debate on TikTok right now on if women are really attracted to dad bods. And I swear to God, this is a prime example of how men and women speak different languages. When women say that they're attracted to dad bods, they're being honest, but it's because of how they define a dad bod. Women think of a dad bod as a man that has muscle and relatively slim, but not lean or toned. When men say they never witness women liking dad bods, they're also being honest. But this is because they define a dad bod as the average guy with very little muscle and a big belly. So the truth is that both men and women are correct in their definitions. But men and women all over the place are continuing this argument. Instead of understanding what each other mean, are you guys seeing this too?
And that's basically what I said. I fully do agree with that. It's because you have two completely different definitions, but they're using the same title. And just to be clear, the right definition is what the men are saying. But anyways, what we're going to do now is go into why they actually think they like dad bod. Because a lot of them are saying it's not because of the actual look of it, it's more what they think a dad bod represents.
Women will tend to accept a man with a dad bod. They think that he is potentially a family man, he's a nurturer, and that he's putting his family before himself. The dad bod becomes a symbol of attractiveness to women, suggesting that he could be a good husband and or father.
Personally, I don't agree with that. Like, I don't feel like that is what you should see. I can definitely agree that I don't think if you see a professional IFBB pro huge mass monster in the 212 bodybuilding competitions, if you see one of those guys, you probably aren't thinking, oh, he's a great dad, in the sense that because he looks so ferocious. However, I wouldn't say that it also makes me think he's going to be a bad dad. It's just like you don't think of like when you think of dads, you do think of like, you know, like a normal sized guy, and that maybe look more friendly. When you see bodybuilders on the stage flexing with the angry face, yeah, it doesn't make you think, you know, daddy nature. However, it should kind of make you feel like protected. Like, a lot of times when it comes to danger, a dad will be the one that's getting involved. But anyways, that aside, what we're going to do now is see what Chris Williamson goes into a little bit more depth.
Women prefer dad bods is this caloric choice idea. A man that is really good looking and like lean, if you give him 1 calorie, there are more avenues open to him outside of his committed relationship and his family to which he could spend that calorie. Whereas the guy that was the soft, fluffy dad bod would presumably have more doorways of potential infidelity closed to him. It was that dad bods are an indication of better dads. He's not going to spend his calorie trying to chase after some 21-year-old because she doesn't care about him.
When people used to spout this theory, I used to think personally it was lies. I was like, hey, we're capping. Like, girls ain't that bad. They don't really want you to like not be in shape. They just like someone that just eats pizza with them on the weekend and watch Netflix. And that's just a spike product of you gaining weight, because most guys, when they go into a relationship, they tend to gain a little bit of weight. You know what I mean? Girls do too. I just thought it was that. That's just a comfort zone. However, from experience, I've had 2 friends at this point now tell me the same story, so which made me realize this is true, that their girlfriends basically didn't like the idea of them going to the gym simply because they said out of their own mouth that, I don't like the idea of you going to the gym because you're going to start looking more attractive to the other girls in the gym. I see what they wear and you're my boyfriend. I feel like they may potentially like draw your eye or vice versa. And when they told me this, I was amazed simply the fact that they said it. Like, it's one thing to have these intrusive thoughts, but to actually verbalize it and tell the person, I thought that was very interesting. And from that point forward, I now know that when people say this, there's definitely an element of truth, because there's some girls out there that truly think this. Do most girls think it? I hope not. But the fact that 2 friends have told me this right now, it shows that it definitely is out there. But what we're going to do is now kind of put a bow on this is have a girl themselves. I think it's better to have the girl speak and have her talk about how she used to be team dad bod and why she kind of changed over.
Am I the only one that used to think the dad bod was cute? Like, you know, I wasn't a fan of the muscles, but now that I've been working out and I see the discipline that is required to have that type of physique, it really goes to show that your mind is a reflection through your body. So someone that is strong mentally and emotionally has discipline in their life, it's going to reflect in their body. So I wasn't a fan, but now I'm a fan. And it just goes to show, like, if you get with these little boys that they're like limp in their body, dad bod, and they're not like built, from my experience, you know, they're not going to have emotional discipline, sexual discipline, mental discipline, just discipline in their overall life, and that's going to reflect into your relationship.
And for most of that, I do agree. Like, someone that goes to the gym, it does show discipline. It means that you're constantly going somewhere, putting yourself through, I guess, a little bit of torture, and consistently going, realizing that it's a long-term thing. Like, on day 1 or week 1 or week 4, you may not see rapid results in the gym, but the fact you keep going, it shows a level of determination, and the fact that you'll stick to something and keep doing it, and it builds over and carries over to other aspects of your life, and does show typically people that go to the gym compared to someone that sits on the sofa all day playing games, you're probably gonna have a little bit more discipline. Where I fully probably don't agree thoroughly is the sexual discipline. I'm not gonna say that, because on average, at least when you're younger, the more attractive you look, the more options you get, which means that you potentially may not be as a sexually disciplined, aka you may cheat. But in regards to general discipline, I do think it definitely does factor in there. But as a whole, when it comes to the actual physique you want, if you're trying to attain girls, those top 2 physiques we've shown you on screen are the ones that most girls tend to go for, so you don't need to go overboard. So with that being said, if you need help to sort of build any of those physiques, barring the bottom right one, which was the super bodybuilder level physique, feel free to hit me up down below, click the link. I can either help you with one-to-one online coaching, or I can create you a custom training plan to make sure you're on the right path as you start out during this time. But anyways, people, I'll see you guys in the next video.